just sit down watching them to do whatever they feel like doing simply because they are professionals. You cannot talk to them. Give them target. During Jonathan, we brought mercenaries. They were about to finish Boko Haram. But because of our complacency and personal aggrandizement and personal interest, we asked them to go back. And we are still battling with the issue. I was in Borno State as a member of the State House of Assembly when the mercenaries were in Borno. They were less than 30. They operate in a place like this. Everybody with a laptop before him, observing what is happening in the bush. The moment they discover an enclave, they will be able to identify how many weapons do they have, what kind of weapons are they using, how many AK-47 do they have, how many explosives do they have. They will take only 3 or 4 people in a chopper, go and clear everything. They will snap pictures before clearing them and bring back exhibit. We were about to finish it. And because of interest, personal interest, that if we allow mercenaries to finish this thing, we are not going to get anything. How much was the bill given by the mercenaries? Even Russia is employing mercenaries to fight for them, isn't it? Are we stronger than Russia? Is there anything wrong if you can bring somebody that can fight for you? There's nothing wrong in that. So I'm sorry if people are saying that National Assembly is not doing the needful, National Assembly is not providing the enabling laws. We have provided all the enabling laws. The enforcement of such laws is not ours. If government is not ready to implement, there is no way we can compel government. The only thing we can advise government. If government refuses to do, there is no way you can force them. Because they have the mercenaries for implementation. You do not have.
We have several campaigns, which are a series of coordinated operations aimed at achieving strategic objectives. So, you win some, you lose some. But what is most important is the statistics of what you win against what you lose. In the last 1 week alone, I can tell you for a fact that over 20 terrorists have been neutralized, and we have also recovered several arms and ammunition, even as we continue to conduct operations on multiple fronts as we speak. For now, most citizens have returned to their communities, and socio-economic activities have resumed. Malam Fatori and Kukawa are recent success stories where almost 20,000 internally displaced persons have returned to their ancestral homes. However, what is happening in Nigeria is not unconnected to the situation in the greater Sahel region, where barracks in neighboring countries are being ransacked and weapons carted away. These weapons find their way down into Nigeria due to our large and porous borders, thereby re-energizing the fight. 2 years ago, we were ready to say that the conflict was over, but the deterioration in the security amongst Sahel states have also affected us. So, in spite of this progress, the terrorists have also adapted. This is possible also due to the relative ease with which they can access technology. For instance, since November of last year, we noticed the introduction of the use of armed drones to carry out attacks. Like you will find out in Israel and Ukraine, these drones are difficult to detect by conventional radar detection systems. In the last 2 months, we have been re-strategizing and reorganizing. The Chief of Army Staff was here just a week ago, and several changes have been made in theater. I, for instance, am one of such changes, having just taken over command about 2 weeks or thereabouts. Additional platforms and personnel are being inducted into the theater, but what the terrorists have resorted to doing is carrying out multi-pronged attacks on several isolated and vulnerable deployments and using it as a propaganda, which is why we are also reviewing our deployments. Yesterday alone, there were attacks in Ran, Dikwa, and Gajiram. And all these attacks were defeated, apart from Ran, where they succeeded in penetrating to an extent, leading to the loss of 4 gallant personnel. However, let me reassure you that the overall resolve of the Nigerian military is that we will completely defeat this terrorism and restore peace to the region once and for all in the shortest possible time. We just need the support of the nation. For the terrorists, I urge them to toe the path of their colleagues who have surrendered and have been humanely treated or risk being eliminated in the long run. The military is fully resolved and resourced to bring the battle to a favorable conclusion. Our troops are highly motivated and our resilience is not dampened. Several welfare initiatives have been instituted by the military hierarchy, and this has boosted the morale of our troops. This is the level of seriousness that the government attaches to this conflict, and in time, we will completely defeat terrorism. It is important for the Nigerian populace to understand the nature of the conflict and the space within which we have to operate. For instance, this entire theater of operation is over 150 square kilometers. That is larger than several countries put together. But let us even take the Timbuktu Triangle, which is one of the epicenters of this conflict. It is over 11,000 square kilometers in size, which is larger than Rivers, Bayelsa, and Osun states. Internationally, the Timbuktu Triangle is larger than Jamaica, Kosovo, as well as the Republic of Gambia. So, as a military, we need to be methodical and have a phased operation. In asymmetric warfare, Sun Tzu famously said, you have to separate the water from the fish. That is the terrorists from the populace. Security is therefore a collective responsibility and not just for the men in uniform. Nigerians must continue to assist the military in fishing out the bad elements. Let me give you an example. Last week alone, we were able to capture 13,000 liters of premium motor spirits, that is petrol, which was intercepted by our personnel headed for the terrorist enclave in the middle of the night. This amount will keep the terrorist motorcycles operational for the next 1 year. Therefore, it is expedient that the entire community joins in assisting the military to fight terrorism.
You see, we keep saying this, and we continue to say that the Northerners, this is not, we are not being biased. I'm not being biased, but we have to say the truth, say it the way it is. Every state, every region have their own problems, but the problem from the north is the major problem we have in this country. Every region have their own problem. They are facing one problem or the other, but the major problem is from the north, on which I think the Northerners are still responsible for this problem, and they know the solutions to this problem. They just do not want to solve it because power has left them. The Northerners, average Northerners, they do not want to sleep without power. If they sleep, power not in their hand, as in president is not from them. It's like they have been cheated, and because they feel they have been cheated, then it will result to these problems to affect other regions, right? Meanwhile, it is not about, you guys have the power multiple times. We are not seeing changes, nothing. If you guys have been able to make use of the power, this problem would have been solved. It does not matter who be the president, who becomes the president. What matter is the competence of that person. Are you competent? Right? But now we can see that this one is going beyond our expectation. The Northerners should be held responsible for the problem of this country because they are the one. They are the problem of this country. Anything, or their citizens have already admitted, accepted. It's a few of them who do not want to take the responsibility or the failure of this country, especially from the region. So all the region, all the Northern politicians should be held responsible for the problem of this country. Yes, they are the one. They know the pollution. That one I say, they brought these people to this country, election engineering to this country to rig election for them. So what happened after? So the same language you speak to them at that time, you spoke in your Hausa language, whatever language you speak to those people to come in. After what? Can't you allow them to go? Why do you decide to keep them? Now gradually, they have taken over some communities in that state, and the community now is too small for them. They need to expand, and they are now pushing to the west, to the south, other regions, right? So now is the problem we have in this country. They should take responsibility of the problem of that north, and they know the problem. Now they are not using it as politics. They are playing with human lives, using human lives to play politics, dirty politics. Yes, they are using human lives to play dirty politics. And I pity their cities, I pity their citizens there, right? Anyways, so imagine Boko Haram are now using drones. Those drones that they use in Russia and some of these countries, those drones that you cannot detect where they are from. Who is sponsoring them? Who is sponsoring these people? Who is giving them this moral, this heavy equipment that we, our security, do not even have the kind of equipment the Boko Haram has to fight our military every day? So who is sponsoring them? Who is financing them? Who is sponsoring them? It is me. Who no, they know, they themselves, they know, because it's not a multi-billion or dollars industry for them. They don't want to let go of this industry, this investment. The more they operate, they strike, the more money they make, and that is a problem. So they know the problem, they don't want to solve it. The problem, the solutions lies in the hands of the Northerners. They are the causes, they are still the solutions to the problem. The day they realize that this problem is becoming too much for them, they did not. They wake up, they say they want to solve this problem. They will solve it. They have everything it takes, all it takes to solve the problem of insecurity in the north. For you to develop a country, for you to make your region great, you first of all need to make the region conducive for investors, for people to live, so that they can go about doing their businesses and whatever. So now they are being displayed. They can't go to their business. They can't go to their farm. They can't do nothing. Now they are heavily dependent of government allocations to come and be, no, it's not going to work. So you are only training more people to, training more people to become Boko Haram, to become ISWAT, different groups. You are only training them. Do you understand? So now they are even joining the group voluntarily so that they can feed themselves. So the problem is just too much now. Anyways, please share this video. And please subscribe to this YouTube channel. Be your guide. Run out for me now. Please.